What's going on, folks? Happy Monday, the first day of December. All right, 24 days away from Christmas. Hope you guys weren't naughty this month or this year, should I say? Um, checking my checking my computer. All right, making sure you guys weren't naughty this month. Why is it disconnecting me from here? All right, whatever. All right, so today's Monday, December 1st, 2025. This is Chris here, Better Investing. To kind of talk about the markets. Now that we have that holiday little rally over, I think I don't want to say I like I thought this was going to happen, but like after 4 days up in a row, I was like, man, I rather would see a pullback. There's some opportunities, to kind of get short on some things that I was able to catch. I was able to catch BE. Should have been a bigger move, right? I always say that. But I was able to get a nice move on this from like 106 down to about 104, about $2. Um, Let me do this real fast. This is about to run hella slow, so let me just go ahead and close some of these things. Boom. All right, do that. All right, I was able to kind of get this. Close. Close. Come on. All right, market's getting nasty here at the end of the day. Um, Again, this was a 3 day move up, like just gapped up. But I was able to get short somewhere around like 106. Trying to see if I have my times up where I actually got in at. Let's see here. Um, Had to be somewhere around here. I think it was like this candle here or so. And I got a nice move down to about 104, and I just took it off. And as you can see, it's continuing lower at 99. How can I say this? Like the thing with trading, I think the everyone gets fucking caught up in trading strategy, following this person, da da da. I think the best way to put it is if you can't take a loss, or if you can't eliminate your losses, and follow proper risk management, um, I don't care what trading strategy you have. It really nails down to being a risk manager first and a trader second. Rather you wanting to go long on something, rather you wanting to go short on something. Um, Me personally, I like to just navigate the markets, right? Whether that's long or short. It really just comes down to proper risk management. And do I see an opportunity in the market where I can extrapolate dollars into my account by risking very little? Plain and simple. Can I find an opportunity in the market to trade whatever direction I'm determining to trade right now at a level that gives me a defined risk to reward that is much greater than what I will potentially lose on the trade, right? And if you can, take the fucking trade, all right? That's really what it is. I got short on BE, I got short on Rigetti. I didn't think Rigetti had that look to it that it wanted to go higher. And then what helped out was, in the morning or the market, you have Bitcoin just nasty down like 5% today. So when we gapped down, I hit this around like 2460. And I had a nice size on it, got a nice trade. And my other one was Tesla. Like I told you, I'll trade Tesla to any direction. And looking at it now, I mean, this is a much better candle now at being up here at 430. It was just like a 425. Right, this was it was giving that dangling look off the 50. But that's pretty strong move to the upside. Um, which way this I can see this going either way. I can honestly see this going anyway. You kind of have your line and sound down here like 425.50 or so. But you got the EMAs right underneath. Let's just go take a look at the bigger picture right now. You have SPY, kind of this inverted hammer, should you say? Again, it was just a up these many days in a row and then kind of a gap down. Right, we did finish off the lows. Right? But just to kind of see us press up into 682, right into these Fridays highs somewhat. It was more specific on QQQ that I called out, in a chat that I am, that it's just a phenomenal risk to reward, to kind of play a little reversion trade going against the trend. Right? If you're gonna go against the trend, go against the trend where you're risking very fucking little, right? Where it's just the opportunity uh, for the trade to work out in your favor. The probability of it not working is probably higher, but the risk to reward is worth it. Depending on what you trade, right? Me, I don't trade QQQ because I don't trade options. But like, if this was a stock doing this at the red to green spot I talk about, it would have been a trade that I took or take. But this is a gap up, right, on Friday, and then we kind of gap down on Monday. And I think like really the culprit here was this Bitcoin look. This Bitcoin look did not look good. Let's see if we can go here to Bitcoin USD. This was just not good look. Kind of just washed out. These prior weekend traders that probably got in, right? Anyone that got in around here kind of washed them out. Did kind of recover, kind of putting in a higher low, but now we got to break back above 90,000. Let's see if we have that trend. But you kind of had this flag, breakdown right into the EMAs, triggers right through there. That's your stop. Right, nice move downward on it. What you can do right now is you can probably level something like that out. Right, see if we get another touch and bounce. Right, kind of establishing those higher lows. But yeah, I think this was just this ended up being kind of nasty to see, and then you kind of had stocks that kind of gapped down right off of that, like this Coinbase. Like a lot of people were trying to play this reversal on Coinbase, and they gave back all Friday gains. Probably stopped people out as well. Friday and last Wednesdays as well, kind of undercutted that. So just again, that's why it's hard to kind of play against the longer term trend. In this case, I think from a trader's perspective, this price action right now probably takes a little more precedence. I don't really think I have a good trend, as you can say, is that it's still maintaining. I mean, you go to SPY, go back to SPY real fast, see if we got a good trend on here. I haven't marked it out from this perspective. I mean, it could be establishing a new trend, but like the trend that it held to the upside, I mean, I don't really see it. I don't really see a trend line that you can say it kind of held. But yeah, man, I think that's the biggest thing, with the market. So let's go here and look at QQQ, and I kind of talk about what I was thinking about on QQQ as well. It was like you kind of had this red to green fade right here on a gap down. I mean, that's something I'm okay. I think you can trade for, and you can kind of see it right here. Again, like if you were trading options, this probably stops you out, right? All this sideways action. That's just kind of why I got away from options. But like, just think about the risk to reward here. On a gap down, right? Say if you were to try to take the fade here, this fade doesn't work, right? That's your one opportunity to take the fade. But really, your next opportunity is up here into the red to green spot, and it's just a phenomenal risk to reward opportunity here. If you're able to get short right under here, right, and your stop is here. Right, say if this was an individual trade that you want to take to the short side, I mean, you're only risking 36 cents, right? So you need about what, 68 cents, 70 cents, for a 2-to-1 risk to reward, right? That's really what I target for. I target for 2-to-1. Anything I can get over that is cool. That's fine with me. I'll just keep my stop right here, right? Keep my stop right there, or leave my stop at break even, right? And live with the trade, right? Because at the end of the day, this trade ended up going, almost 8-to-1. All right, 8-to-1 risk to reward. Like, and again, say if you got peeled out, you stopped out on that one. Again, it's just an opportunity where I can get into the market and extrapolate profits. All right here, this candle right here, back into the red to green spot. Right when it breaks, I might stop now. I can even tighten it up now. I'm risking 30 cents. Right, so now all I need is 60 cents for a 2-to-1 risk to reward. You get that. Right, you get this whole move down. It's almost an 8-to-1 risk to reward, right, type of thing. So like, say if you had 100 shares, you're risking $31, and you end up catching, a $259 profit. So little things like that. I think there's just opportunities to both direction. And for me, I think what I do best is being able to not have a bias and being able to trade both sides of the market. I think that's what's helpful. And I would say a lot of traders are not comfortable with that, and I would say that when it's time to get long, they're probably able to see that turn a little bit better than someone who's trading both sides. But the problem is, when the market gets choppy, or they'll find themselves it's really a little more difficult in a choppy environment. As they continue to try to get long, you get bullshit like this. Like I know, like Twilio was a stock I was looking at. Let me see how this look on the day. All right, you'd be mad if you got in on this day here, and then this kind of just undercut you, type of thing. I don't know. I think you'd have been looking at this position like, oh man, we done gap down and we're breaking these lows that I got in on. That would frustrate you. As a trader to the long side. So yeah, I think it's just important again. Like if you're going to trade, this trade ideal locations, where you're risking a little bit, where you see an opportunity. Where you see an opportunity may not be another person area that they see an opportunity, but maybe you see something that they don't. It was a good topic that came up today. They talked about intuition, and really I was like, how do you define your intuition in terms of trading, and should it be a part of your trading? And for me, I think it's hard to separate the two. Your intuition and just being something that's very systemic, because your systemic nature of trading is kind of built off of intuition, which is built off of experience, right? You seeing that opportunity in the past that you have capitalized on. So that intuition kind of builds your systemic trading approach. I think they somewhat go hand in hand. And I think when you have that systemic view on an approach, that builds your intuition, and not necessarily the other way around, where your intuition builds is your systemic approach, or your systematic way of trading, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I think some of the things I do like that we pull back. There are still opportunities for this to bounce at. You got like this on here on this IWM. Just fucking kind of nasty, honestly. It's nasty price action, but we could build back and establish another higher low. I mean, this didn't finish too bad off the lows. Off of this red to green spot. I think we talked about getting long back here on Tuesday as we broke and made these higher, and broke and kind of established this higher low on the hourly. For me, I would. I mean, you could potentially use this as your pivot, but I think just getting back above 620 would probably be ideal. To kind of continue that look for a higher high and continuation. I mean, right now you still do have it. That's why I see, like, if you're gonna, mean revert, right, or try to play the opposite side of the trade, you gotta do understand, like, we are kind of establishing these higher lows, right, from the bottom still, right, boom, right. Now your next spot really to break is 620, right. Back up here into 626, this bear gap or whatever. But yeah, that's really all I have. Again, I've been mostly focusing on trading my setups, trading what I like. Not necessary. Again, having a bias or being bullish or being bear. I'm just giving what the market is willing to give me. And again, really just working on my risk management and not trying to overtrade, right? Not trying to have every day be a P&L day, and then really just focusing on I kind of like this look right here. And, just pretty much just focusing on moving my equity curve. Really, I think that's the biggest thing for me. Just moving my equity curve, right? Right, and just moving it steady, right? Just just outwinning my losers, if that makes any sense. Just outwinning my losers. Um, and I think as you grow as a trader, you kind of develop your trading approach, and it shouldn't be the same as someone else. It can, right? You can take stitches from here, or you can take Randy Johnson's fastball. You can take Greg Maddox's changeup, right, and tweak everything and make your own pitching repository. To get out there and get on the mound and throw some fucking pitches, right? And hopefully you don't get smacked, right? Hopefully when you do mess up, right, it's only a single, right? But sometimes you might turn a 1 hour, 2 hour double play, Probably losing you guys here, but yeah. Apple, pretty big move. I talked about this, just flirting here, and I think I mentioned also. Oh man, I don't think I posted that video though. But I did kind of mention like these higher. Yep, there it is right there. I kind of had this marked out. I already had this marked out, and that was right there. It was a good move. I own Apple, so I don't really trade the stocks I own, for long term. But yeah, that's a powerful move here on Apple. And I had this laid out. I had this fucking laid out, and you're getting right there. Jesus Christ. You're not even risking much. You're not risking 20 cents. I'm sorry. Risking about $1. Yeah, that was a pretty sweet ass move, man. I had that marked out. One of these buy the breakout candle, put your stop below. That is sexy. Damn. Yeah, I marked this. I marked that all weekend. Look at on it. Damn. That looks good. That's pretty nice. I had that marked out. I don't know if I have that on my video. I'm trying to see if I have that from Friday's video. That looks sweet. But yeah, man, I think that's the biggest thing with trading. So what was it? 11/28 was the last day. I'm trying to see here. Hold on, guys. See if I talked about it. Let me see. Yeah. Check this out. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's gonna go on Monday, honestly. But yeah, let's go back to stocks. I mean, not much for me to really talk about. I do want to say, I don't know if I could better, I guess. I mean, next week, I mean, this could go. All right, here you got Apple, right? Not too bad, right? Still kind of breaking out. I mean, next week, I mean, this could. You might can't see it, but I can probably see how this is looking on like an hourly chart. Um, Kind of got like this little flag pattern, I guess. Let me see. Yeah. Shit. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's gonna go on Monday, honestly. Um, but yeah, let's go back to stock. I'm good. I mean, not. Damn, I'm good. I definitely called that out. All right, yeah, ain't much else for me to say, man. Peace. God bless.